All right, because Godzilla is going to have a sequel next year, as well as the Godzilla 2, as well as the year after that we have Godzilla versus Kong, and we are anxiously waiting for that one. I decided I was going to do a top 10 Godzilla movies that I like, that I think are the best, or my favorite Godzilla movies. I don't think, well, actually, I don't think these movies are the best, but they're my favorites. They don't have to be your favorites, so you could be biased about the list that I'm going to be talking about on this video. Okay, starting at number 10, we have Godzilla 1985, as well as The Return of Godzilla. The reason I'm putting these two in the same continuity is because basically they're the same film. It's just the other one, Godzilla 1985, The Legend is Reborn, is with the reshoots with Raymond Burr and the other American actors. And I think The Return of Godzilla is a much better film, of course. But I don't know. I love Godzilla 1985. I didn't like it at first. That's why it's number 10. But because there's other much better Godzilla movies. And what I liked about this movie is just the scenes that it turns to Godzilla's more grittier and darker roots, where you see Godzilla killing people, and literally on this movie, there, especially some of the most memorable scenes, probably where Godzilla is in Tokyo Bay and he blasts the soldiers, and you see them getting incinerated, and this guy just burning in his back. It just looks chilling. As well as when Godzilla walks into Tokyo and you see him just trampling people, but in the Return of Godzilla, actually the people Godzilla was already knocked out from Super X, and for some reason they decided to stay there. When there's a 200-foot giant monster right next to them, just a couple feet away, and I'm also talking about how the bad editing of the Godzilla 1985 film was really bad, but I love it. And also one really good scene that I really liked is when Godzilla shows up on the first time he shows up is you see like camera angle go up and you see Godzilla and he steps on that guy right after it. That really blew me away. And the design of Godzilla in the movie is totally jaw dropping for me. It looks awesome. It looks very intimidating, as well as the scene where you don't actually see Godzilla. It's the submarine scene, the Soviet sub, and there's the tension is so damn good on that part that I just every time I watch that scene, it gives me a chill on my chest because it's creepy. It's actually creepy. All right, coming in at number 9, we have Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, also known as Ebra, or of the Deep, or in its original form was supposed to be King Kong, but Toho decided Godzilla is a lot more marketable, and I totally agree with them. I'm glad it wasn't King Kong because I prefer Godzilla, and probably one of the most famous aspects of this movie is because Godzilla looks like he's on PCP or heroin on this movie. Because I guess the Godzilla suit, they used the Godzilla suit from what was it, the 1964 movie Kids with a Three-Headed Monster, and it was already deteriorating. And there's basically it's just Godzilla going against a red bamboo terrorist who have the giant lobster or shrimp as their main super weapon, and these two brothers get reunited, and this guy stealing the ship, and Godzilla, of course, has to go against this giant crab or whatever you want to call it, Ebra, giant lobster, as well as Mothra for some reason being on this movie as a kind of like a filler monster. Okay, the reason I like this movie was just because I love the dubbing on it, and the characters made me laugh. It was just the tongue-in-cheek dialogue, and I know it's really bad, but I don't know, I just got so used to it. It's probably one of the my favorite Godzilla movies on this list. All right, coming in at number 8, we have Godzilla vs. Gigan, and this is also the least favorite in the original series. But I really like this movie a lot because I've been watching it since I was younger. It might be maybe the second Godzilla I ever saw. It's just basically Godzilla and Anguirus versus Gigan and King Ghidorah. A struggling artist has to find a good idea in order to market his drawings, and he ends up working for a children's land. It's supposed to be a museum of monsters, but it's actually ruled by intelligent cockroaches of the ghosts of dead, I guess, family members of some of the main characters on this movie. You can't really call main characters because I mean it's freaking Godzilla. There's no character development whatsoever on any of these movies most of the time. But anyways, they want to basically take over the world because their old planet is too filthy and they're freaking roaches. How does that make sense, anyways? All right, and I really like this movie a whole lot. I love it. Coming in at number 7, Godzilla 2014, the one directed by Garrett Edwards, starring Bryan Cranston, Aaron Taylor Johnson, as well as Elizabeth Olsen. I love this movie. I realized it. I know at first it's just a Godzilla teaser trailer kind of movie, and then all of a sudden at the very end you see the big payoff with Godzilla going against the Budos, massive unidentified terrestrial organism. Can you say that 3 times fast? Anyway, all right, and this movie is the reason. If it hadn't been for Godzilla 1998, that god awful movie with Matthew Broderick, we wouldn't have had this movie. Yes. All right. Oh man. All right. Coming in at number 6, we have Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, also known as Godzilla versus the Bionic Monster, Godzilla versus the Cosmic Monster, and the one from 1974. There's so many appearances with Mechagodzilla, so many movies with him on it. It's kind of hard to pinpoint for those of you who don't know Godzilla, anyways. This movie takes place. This girl prophesizes that the monster's going to come and destroy Tokyo. Wow, that's a great plot, isn't it? Anyways, okay, and this movie was actually, for me, it was inspired by the Planet of the Apes and the $6 Million Man, who was very hot at the time, in 1974. So there's a bunch of apes decide to build a mechanical version of Godzilla and set him on Tokyo. And at first he's disguised as Godzilla, and Guerrero comes out and he gets his butt handed to him, and gets his jaw ripped wide open. And what's really famous about the movie is just the amount of blood that's on it, because he gets his jaw ripped wide open. You can see blood just gushing out, as well as the scenes where you see Godzilla battle Mechagodzilla. You see the ocean water, and all of a sudden this huge puddle of blood gushing everywhere, as well as the end scene where Mechagodzilla officially becomes John Rambo and throws every weapon imaginable at King Caesar, the guardian of the Izumis, as a subplot in this movie, and probably one of the most interesting kaijus I've ever seen in my life, probably. So that's why this movie is number 6 for me, because I love it. It's awesome. Anyways, coming in at number 5, we have Godzilla vs. Destroyer. And earlier on, they clued us in that Godzilla was going to die on this movie, because especially the movie posters in Japan, where you see the burning Godzilla's skin burning up, and it just basically this is not a reboot. This is actually just a kind of like a revisiting of the old roots of the Oxygen Destroyer. The Oxygen Destroyer creates this creature. At first, it looks like some type of red crustacean monster creature, small creature, and then it eventually becomes metamorphosizes into these crab-like, alien-looking monsters that start attacking people. As in the next form, where it's kind of like an evil, demonic-looking bat thing, and at the end, at the final form, which is just this overly massive, even bigger than Godzilla, space Godzilla clone-looking thing, and Godzilla Jr. is on this movie. There's a very touching subplot that Godzilla realizing that he has another species just like him, and he realizes that, hey, that's his son, and Godzilla Jr. is not just this Pugsley-looking doughboy on this movie. He's actually a pretty badass. Okay, and of course Godzilla does the meltdown part, and there's so many great scenes in this movie. I just want to kind of point them out, like the beginning where you see Godzilla blown up, and it causes the whole world to implode because of the massive radiation that destroys the planet. And that's basically where they're trying to stop Godzilla from melting down by freezing him on this movie. Wow, awesome, pretty awesome stuff. If you haven't seen it, better check that movie out if you haven't seen it. All right, coming in at number 4, we have Destroy All Monsters. And this, earlier on, it was said that this movie was supposed to be a final film in the 60s movies. This features almost every monster that you can think of from the previous movies, including the Godzilla movies. And it's just basically the aliens are these pretty interesting characters. They're interesting because they're women aliens, and they decide they're gonna attack this because all the monsters have been gathered up and put into Ogasawara Island, and they're being kept in there by electronic barriers. But then again, I thought Godzilla beam was strong enough to destroy anything. I don't know. Anyways, So I want to give you guys a roll call of every monster on that movie because I remember it really well. Okay, anyways, we got Godzilla on that movie. We got Minya. We got Mothra, Rodan. We got Anguirus. We got Baragon. We got Kumanga and a couple of other filler monsters, including Baran and Amanda and Baragon. So, and of course, the final awesome fight scene with King Ghidorah on it. So that's why this movie comes in at number 4 for me because it is so awesome. I loved it. Anyways, coming in at number 3, and these are the final 3 movies, and it was very hard to make up my mind which ones were going to be the final 3, including the number 1. So, oh well. Okay, coming in at number 3, we got Godzilla Final Wars. Makes sense after Destroy All Monsters, doesn't it? Right? Anyways, this movie was another time when that Toho said, okay, after this movie, we're not going to make any more Godzilla. And they actually did close Toho Studios. They said they were going to make no more Godzilla movies. This was the final one. Yeah, right. I guess because Toho saw the success of Godzilla 2014, and they said, oh, that movie kind of sucks a little bit, and the Godzilla looks pretty fat in that movie. And since they wanted to compete with themselves, because Godzilla is their idea, but then I guess they got jealous and they said, "Oh, let's go back and make Shin Godzilla." All right. So Godzilla it's just basically the Exilians coming in, and it's the same scenario as Destroy All Monsters. They send all the Earth's monsters to destroy different parts of the world, the cities in the world, and Godzilla is brought back to life to stop all of them. And probably one of the most standout scenes in this movie is where Godzilla goes against Zilla, that abomination from a Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie, if you call it. It's Zilla. It's not Godzilla, that's for sure. And easily dispatches him. And that scene is also one of my favorite standout scenes. Also, the scene with Rodan. Probably one of the best scenes on that movie. Sorry about that. Where you see he attacks New York. You see a pimp, a cop, as well as this guy that could have been on Friday. You know, he looks a lot like he would have been on that movie Friday with Chris Tucker and Ice Cube. And it just features one of some of the best city destructions I've ever seen on a Godzilla movie from Toho. Awesome stuff. And of course, it features the final fight between Gigan and Monster X, this new monster supposedly, versus Mothra and Godzilla. And at the very end, Monster X metamorphosizes into this newer version of Desghidorah meets King Ghidorah, and you know what happens after that. And it's definitely one of the most awesome Godzilla movies I've seen because there's a lot of notable similarities to the Matrix as well as Independence Day and so forth. So that's why this movie gets number 3 on my list. And coming in at number 2, the final 2, these movies it was very, very difficult for me, is Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, or GMK as it's called. The reason this movie is number 2 because it's just so awesome to me because I love the storyline of this movie. Godzilla is basically brought back by the spirits of World War II that were killed in World War II, and he's here to wreak havoc, not just passing through. He really does want to kill people on this movie. And the reason I'm telling you, if you haven't seen this movie, check it out. There's probably one of the best scenes on the movie. There's several scenes that I really liked on this movie. Is a part where he's walking and he sees people on the ground and he decides to nuke them with his heat beam, and also the part where you see somebody taking a picture, and it's like kind of like a redone scene from the original Gojira from 1954, and he sees the people and decides I'm going to kill them too, and he just crushes the mountain and it crumbles on the people. And this is the first movie where you actually see King Ghidorah being a good guy, and Baragon's kind of thrown in on this movie for some reason. I guess it's just for another monster for Godzilla to beat up, and just basically the Godzilla's another really famous part of what this movie is the design of Godzilla in this movie. It's really awesome. He has no pupils on his movie, so this really demonic looking Godzilla just wants to kill people intentionally. I'm saying he's not just passing through. He's not just a force of nature on this movie. He actually wants to kill people on this movie. And it kind of also makes references from the Godzilla 1998. Of course, you know what that was like. All right. My number 1 pick for my favorite Godzilla movie of all time, and it was, like I said, it was very difficult for me, is the original King Ghidorah appearance from Ghidorah, the three-headed monster from 1964, which is the well, it has a very interesting story and some very comical moments with the monsters. It's just like kind of like there's basically a monster from outer space lands on Earth, and then Godzilla and Rodan and Mothra have to team up to stop him. But at first, you see Godzilla and Rodan fighting each other, as and so Mothra kind of has to convince them to fight King Ghidorah with her. So you see the fairies on this movie, and what I loved about this movie is just the comic relief on this movie. With you see what I love about Toho movies, especially the original ones, is just the personality. They give these creatures personality. It's funny, and there's just really comical scene where you see Godzilla do this hand hands gesture, and then the fairy said, "Oh God, Godzilla, what obscene language or something like that." It's just really funny, and the reason it's my favorite is because it's one of the original. We see a bunch of monsters going against each other. Because we had already seen something like that with King Kong versus Godzilla, but it had never really done to the T like on this movie, and this is kind of the original that really set the pace because Godzilla at first and Rodan were bad guys, and they decided to join Mothra, and they officially become heroes of and saviors of the world as well as Mothra. So that's okay. That is my list of my favorite Godzilla movies. I don't want to say it's my best of list. I don't think these are. I mean, I don't think these are the best Godzilla movies. They are to me, but to you they might be different. Okay, if you want to subscribe to this blog and support this blog, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get notifications from my channel. Comment on this video. What do you think is the best Godzilla movie you've ever seen? What is the Godzilla movie that you remember the most? Sorry, I had a lot of soda before I did this video. And comment on this video and like and subscribe and help me out because I'm trying to reach that 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Okay? All right. I will see you guys real soon.